Kirby is a character we're used to seeing in the Nintendo universe, but there's still a lot of people who have never played a single Kirby game, myself included. Some of us just never found it appealing before, or didn't even have a Nintendo system before the Switch. Now that Jigglypuff's unofficial cousin is back and more beautiful than ever, I thought I'd stop in to let you know exactly what this new game is all about, and I'll let you know my thoughts as well. So from the trailers, I thought this game was going to be just like Mario Odyssey, and while it does have its similarities, it's not the carbon copy I was expecting. From what I've played so far, there's a lot less platforming and the game is much more on rails. This means you shouldn't expect to be roaming all over the place, and you won't have to worry about landing too many tight jumps or close calls. The biggest difference for me though is the sword ability. Rather than just hopping around on top of enemies or using the projectiles, you can slash away at those cute little puppies like an action RPG if you want. The different abilities you can get allow you to keep switching things up to keep it interesting, or stick with your preferred playstyle. We'll get more into those abilities here in a little bit. But I have to say, the combat is very fast and fluid, and Kirby controls very tight and responsive. Something we come to expect from quality Nintendo, but I don't take this for granted. Kirby goes where you want, when you want. And the abilities to inhale enemies and float through the air are a refreshing yet classic Kirby experience I'm not used to in a game like this. It almost feels like a 3D Super Smash Bros. Game at first. While we're talking about the feeling of the game, don't expect a 60 frames per second Mario experience here either. This one runs on 30 frames per second with enemies and objects in the background appearing at about half that. There's also a fair amount of blur going on here, all despite the visuals looking really pretty. Just another testament to the outdated Switch hardware that I think could really use an upgrade. Overall though, everything looks good in the vicinity of your character, and the movement is fluid, which are the most important things. Probably all for the sake of longer draw distance. The story is, Kirby's just partying in his little world when a mysterious vortex gives him a taste of his own medicine and sucks him up into a crumbling wasteland. It's then up to the Blobby Boy to save the Waddle Dees that have been abducted and get to the bottom of whatever's been going on, while bullying little puppies. But hey, they started it. The game is divided up into stages, and all you really have to do is make it to the end and enjoy the ride. However, it does give you basically achievements to complete for each level, like breaking a certain object or finding 5 tulips. It's kind of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater goals, and it gives you something to do on your run for an extra reward. You'll also collect lots of money on your adventure and these little prize egg things that give you trophies at the end of the level. Inhaling certain enemies will allow you to copy their abilities, of course, and these range from boomerangs to bombs and breathing ice. So far, there's no shortage of things you can take on, so it looks like there's going to be a ton of abilities. Keep in mind, Kirby cannot attack on his own, so if you feel defenseless, just start eating stuff. But I really am pleasantly surprised at how they just keep feeding you new attacks to use. On top of that, finding blueprints will allow you to evolve your abilities, such as making your sword bigger and turning your bombs into enemy-seeking drones. This will all happen back at the town that'll continue to be rebuilt as you advance in the game. You can also play mini games there and do lots of other stuff. I have to say, it's these slight RPG vibes that make me a little more interested in this game than Mario. Now let's address the pink elephant in the room, mouthful mode. I gotta say, when I first sucked up that car, I thought it was going to be a much more adventurous and puzzle-solving ability, almost a burden. In fact, unless it pops back up later in the game, it's more of a mindless arcade experience. It's really fun, honestly, and just absurd. Mouthful mode is reserved for the more outlandish abilities in the game. Some that are just for fun, like a vending machine that spits out soda cans for attacks, or ones like the traffic cone that actually allow you to interact with the environment a little bit. I don't know why I was expecting them to be more stressful, but honestly they're just fun and goofy, and intuitive. Of course, the game has bosses too, but honestly, don't expect anything too challenging for experienced gamers. You get to choose from 2 difficulty modes, but trust me, even on the harder one, I never died while playing. If you thought Mario Odyssey was lacking in the risk and reward department, expect even less here. But that's why the experience is so important. That's why the mechanics, the controls, and the goofy aesthetics take such a front seat in our Pepto Blob's newest adventure. You get to just relax and enjoy the ride, the music, and the Nintendo 64 feeling environments. Oh, and there's also a co-op mode, but unfortunately I haven't gotten to check that out yet. If you've played the co-op, maybe let us know down in the comments below what you think of it, or if you all just have any questions or thoughts about the game at all, drop a line and let's chat about it. Then remember to subscribe if you love the Nintendo Switch like me, and I'll see you here in one of my other videos.